It refuses to let me unmute, y'all. But yes, we are back again with our coverage of Below Deck Med. And I am your captain, Sasha, joined back again. Yes, we made it with our chief entertainment officer, Chappell. Welcome. We missed you. How was New York? Are you alive?
You thought you were done with me? I'm back. I'm back to cause chaos. Sasha, I had a great time in New York. I met some of the Peanut Gallery. I did. I met Thundercats. I met a few other people. It was amazing. And we are back here to talk about Below Deck. First of all, let me just thank you, Sasha and Jason, for filling in. That was so dope.
Yes, shout out to Jason.
I love Jason so much. I hope he knows that. You know, like I was like in New York thinking, oh crap, I missed it. I was going to try to get in the chat while
Oh,
y'all were
that's
going
so
live.
funny.
Yeah, and I missed it by a few minutes. But thank you, Jason, if you're listening. I hope that he's really enjoying his new Below Deck journey because I joined one season before him and I'm having the time of my life.
No, it's so fun. And I think it's just Below Deck brings people together. I don't know how else to say it. It's so messy, and all my friends are messy. So I think all my friends are now together and we're on the same boat, and it's just gonna get crazier here, y'all.
Yes, and I am already enjoying this season. Um, I didn't love missing last week, but I would have
Yes.
hated to miss this week because this week we got some drama. And
Mhm.
this is my kind of drama. This is girl nonsense. Go handle y'all's business. I stay out of women's business until it gets juicy and then I listen closely. But I try to stay out of it all. This is good, Sasha. I wasn't ready. Toomey is back.
Toomey is back, baby. Again, I want to make it clear. This is not the Toomey we know, but I don't care. I will fight for Toomey to death. Okay. So we have so much to discuss. And I think we are really great people to talk through this episode with because we've been in this situation. We've been like in human interactions. We've led teams of different people. We know how to manage. So I feel like we're in our bag here.
Yes, for sure. We've been in these situations, not on a boat, but definitely to
No.
where you have to deal with leadership styles. I think both of us have backgrounds in leadership and our educational backgrounds as well.
Mhm.
And so being able to manage people, knowing the chain of command, knowing, how different people operate in different functions, their strengths, their skills. Yeah, this is right up my alley. And so seeing some of the moves that are being made, I'm scratching my head a little bit, Sasha. What are we doing here? It's getting messy, messy, messy.
I know. We're like, "Oh, we have a master's in this. Like, let me
Let
in.
us
Let
help.
me just
Let me
let me just
teach.
figure this out."
But you have to pay us, Sasha. You have
Yeah,
to pay us.
I will fight anyone that does any work for free. Okay, I am queen of don't be stupid. All right? So, no. But before we get into everything cuz it's just the headline is getting crazy. Let's talk reviews. We're at 170, Chappelle. I
What?
feel like yes, we're making it. Last week was a big bump. Sorry, not last week, as in the week before this podcast. And I think it's time we need to get to 300, and we need like some incentive. I don't know what, but I feel like we need an incentive to get through this. But something we've done togas already.
We have, and Sasha, I believe we will be together during our normal recording time. Isn't that correct?
Oh yeah.
Have we figured out what we're gonna do for when we're
Nope, we
both hanging
haven't.
out in LA?
Vibes only, baby.
Should we record in the hotel? Like, what's going on, Sasha? Can we do that? I've never
Who
done that
knows?
before.
Who
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But also, yes, next week I won't be here.
Yeah.
Haters go, yay. But
Boo. Boo haters.
I'm just kidding. But I won't be here next week. So it's just there's a lot of travel coming up. But if said otherwise, we'll try to be live at 3 p.m. Eastern
Mhm.
every week on Wednesdays. That is what we try. Okay. And with that, it's just I think it's time to get into everything. Okay. We start in the mess. All right. We get the confrontation between Toomey and Natalia. And how do you feel? Because I feel like you haven't gotten a chance to speak.
I know, right? Man, this is one of those personality things that you really can't help. You hire
Yeah.
people and they have their own set of skills, but then everyone has their own style of interpersonal communication, and it's really hard to piece two pieces that just don't go together. Like it could all look good on paper, but if those two people don't vibe, then it's probably not going to work out. It's like, Sasha, you and I, we just vibe. Like
Yes.
regardless of, like, I don't know if we could work together like full time or anything like
No
that,
idea.
but I do know that we will always get along. That's our thing.
Mhm.
Like, we just have, you put us in the same spot, we will always be drawn to each other. But there are some people who just push away from each other, and it looks like Toomey and Natalia are just, they're good at what they do, but they are not good together. I think it gets off to the wrong start even before Toomey gets there, because she's already getting information from Kyle, who we meet in this episode, that's saying like, hey, just heads up, Natalia kind of be a little extra. So, Sasha, is this Kyle's fault?
Yes. I listen.
Blame the man.
Okay. Because no, Will is actually correct in that Will says, they're both so wrong and so right about so much. And I think that's where I land, where if
Mhm.
I'm being honest, right, it's that Toomey came in very hot. Right. I was
Mhm.
like, just breathe. It
Yeah.
doesn't even matter what happens with the boat. I think all you had to do, and Kate said this right in her the show with Captain Lee,
Oh,
where
okay.
she was like, you just need to like come in and kiss ass. In the confessional, you can talk all the shit you want, but like, when you're here, you just kiss Natalia's ass. Wow, you're amazing. I don't know how you did it with just 3 people and a green stew. Tell me more, right? Like, stroke the ego a little bit.
Yeah. And even, I mean, there were just little things that they were disconnecting on too. Toomey comes in out
Yes.
the gate and says, "Oh, I flew in from Miami," and Natalia says, "Oh, I love Miami. I'm from Miami." And Toomey goes, "I hate it. I would never live there." It's like, ooh,
Like,
you come,
why
you
to me?
and it's like, I'm from Texas, so I can say this with all confidence. People like
Yes.
from Miami are just like us. Like, you are your city, you are your state.
Yes.
Like, people from Miami, they don't say they're from Florida. They are from Miami.
No.
They are from the United States of Miami. That's a thing. And
Mhm.
as a Texan, I feel it. So if you say something like, and don't get me wrong, there's a ton of reasons to not want to live in Texas. But if you tell me that and I'm feeling very Texas-like in that moment, I'm gonna take offense. It's like, what you got against me? What you trying to say? And so I feel like even from there, Natalia was already like, slow down, babe. What are you doing? And it just never got on the right track.
Yeah, it was mess from the jump, and I do think, again, at the end of the day, if I had to pick a side, I'm squarely on Toomey's side, and not
Yeah.
just from the past. I think I've been that manager, right? That's like just had someone that just can't get it together. Like, they just don't like you. It doesn't matter, and most likely it's because they maybe wanted your job, whatever reason it may be. I'm not here to speculate necessarily yet, but
Right.
we'll get into it all. But then Toomey, I feel like, really diffuses the situation, right? And as like, great, I'm not talking about you, blah blah blah. And look at me, I'm also using hands. Natalia would
Right.
hate me. And it drives me crazy. And then Natalia is just asked, "Can you just show me the laundry?" Like, Toomey's
Right.
like, "Move on."
It okay. I think Thundercats in the chat is putting the
Yes.
words to what I'm trying to say. It's like, yes, it's Natalia's fault, because once you have this conversation, you move on. But Natalia at that point goes to literally everybody who she could talk to on the boat. Literally anyone who she came across with. She like, I don't like her. She's like, what did she say? Like, we just don't get
She's
it.
an
We don't get together.
effing bitch.
She's a
That's what
bitch.
she
Yeah,
said.
and out of the gate. And so she says that to Luca, to
Mhm.
Kyle when he gets there, to the chef. Ooh, and don't even get me started on her going back and forth to Chef Jack, and so that kind of stuff is permeating while Toomey is
Yes.
trying to move on and do the job. And so then you start to see other people's interactions with Toomey are affected by what they now have learned from Natalia. So, you know, dang, I mean, like, Natalia was really irking my soul in this episode because I was like, just shut up about it. Let it go.
Yes.
And then you can move
Agreed.
forward and maybe talk about it off the clock. But then you have the whole Kyle of it all. When Kyle and Toomey have their private text conversation, Toomey's like, hey, this Natalia woman, it might be tough for her because I'm not going to let her, back me into a corner. She might end up quitting because of me. And Kyle runs that back to Natalia. So now Natalia's like, oh, you trying to fire me? Oh, okay, bet. And so now tensions are raised even more. And I'm like, dang, is this Kyle's fault? Had he just kept that to himself? Would Natalia have such a she's like a dog with a bone, where
Yeah.
she
Toomey
can't let
called her a
it go.
chihuahua.
Right, but I think it's a
Yeah.
good example. Is like she's like barking a lot, but she won't let it go because she knows Toomey has allegedly said something negative about her behind her back, and so it's hard to shake that. And even Chef Jack at one point starts to act almost the same, where he's having tensions, but he also knows that Toomey said something about him, or
Kyle, fucking idiot. I'm
yeah,
sorry. It's just I enjoy Kyle. Like I like the amount of messy he is, but I just feel like if he just shut the hell up, right? And said, "Oh, Toomey's having a moment and
mhm,
she's sharing with me because guess what? We are the only two people that have any kind of relationship and Natalia has already came at her crazy. So who else is Toomey going to talk to? Like I think that
yeah,
is what frustrates me a lot because I was thinking about it and unfortunately heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? Where
yeah,
Toomey I think shouldn't have shared with
right,
Kyle. That is
right.
100% true. And I think you're still human and you're like, "Oh, this person has already told me about Natalia. So I'm just, having a conversation and corroborating what he's already said."
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I think Lolly in the chat is saying that Kyle was
Yeah.
saying that she was like, oh, Natalia would be fired. But the text message actually said that if you let me, let loose, then she will walk off the boat. And
Yes.
so Kyle might have interpreted that as I already want to fire this girl. When what really Toomey was saying, you need to watch out, Natalia, because if you keep coming at me like this and we go at it, you're gonna want to quit dealing with me. And those
Yes.
are two different conversations. They're both kind of heated, but it does paint it in a different light because now Natalia is probably on guard thinking, oh, Toomey is after me. She's trying to actively get me fired. And
Because
then there's
she's jealous that, I'm
yes,
doing a good
exactly.
job, blah, 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 right? Like
Right.
everyone's the main character in their own story.
Exactly. Ah, man, like I said, this is good. This is good mess because it starts to compound on each other with the little stuff. We see later on Toomey is talking about the chain of command and rankings and saying like, well, I'm chief, and then there's Kyle would be first. Obviously, she tells us in the confessional. Obviously, he would be first because he's so good
Yeah,
with the
second
guests.
Stu. Yeah.
Yeah, second Stu because he's so good with the guests.
And
Well,
Chappelle, Sandy on Watch What Happens Live said one that she loves Kyle,
yeah.
and even after the season, and second that Kyle actually has butler training. So I
Oh,
think
so
if
yes, it
yeah,
makes
so
sense.
that's exactly. So to me, that actually makes more sense
Uh-huh.
why he would be the second because he has butler experience, and the service stew is number two. That's just how it
Right.
is.
And that obviously it's like it just weighs so much on Natalia because she already feels this way about Toomey,
Yes.
thinking that she doesn't like her. So she's like, oh, obviously, yeah, so you're saying I couldn't do it or something like that, right? And then when Toomey's explaining it to us, she says, yeah, and then I would make Natalia, third because then she could even supervise Jess, who is fourth. And she's great at the laundry and stuff. And it makes sense. It all does line up. But when you add the context of this person might not like me, or this
Yes,
person has been talking about me
exactly.
behind my back or trying to get me fired, then it makes you feel like, oh, well, is it personal? Is there little jabs being thrown? And I think that Toomey was able to kind of compartmentalize it a lot more
Yeah,
than Natalia was. Natalia was on
exactly.
10 throughout the entire episode.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what it comes down to. And Will also brings up a really good point here that they all act like they've never worked somewhere before, and as somebody ends up coming in from a transfer or something, and it messes up the vibe. But give it time, and you can get back to it again. And
Mhm.
it's just I feel that also folks keep, not our chat, I'm just saying like everyone. I've seen
Yeah.
on Twitter too, people saying like, but Toomey came in late, so she should, understand it and get it together. And I was like, Toomey didn't come in late. This is a visa issue.
Right.
So it's just, I don't understand. And Lolly, exactly going to the next point, is like, one, she wasn't late. It was a visa issue. Second, all because Natalia was chief stew for 1 2-day charter, not like
Right.
it's mid-season. Thank you. That's
Right.
the problem.
Yeah.
And Thundercats Yup also says Natalia refuses to accept any compliment that Toomey gives her, because Toomey, I think, was still stern, but she was being like, no, you're good, I'm just like irritated at the boat.
Yeah.
They don't own the boat. Like, what
Right.
the hell?
Yeah. And you can see that Toomey has had management training before, because she
Yes.
always leads with a compliment. Like, even when she gets into it with Jack a little later on, she's telling him, I understand you're good. I get that you're good. The guests are tripping, but I am with you. I understand they're rushing you. This is a lot for me too. Like,
Mhm.
she tries to level with you first, and then she says, okay, well, here's the other things that I have to say. Then there's definitely some qualms I have about the way she was handling the dinner service. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I just think that if there isn't all this background, like kind of like whispering and snipering at each other, then you could do your job effectively and then have the conversation later on. Because now you and your boss are bickering to the point where your boss is walking out of the room and telling you to dismiss
Yep.
yourself. How long before Natalia is fired? Because if it's a chain of command thing, Toomey has the right of way here.
Yeah, and again, on Watch What Happens Live, Sandy said Toomey's a great communicator and a good leader. That's why I feel like all of that together just tells me Captain Sandy is squarely in Toomey's corner here. Even,
Yeah.
whatever happens next week, we'll see, but that's currently, I think, where we're gonna go. And I just feel so frustrated because Chef says, I judge people for myself, right? Blah, blah, blah. And then he tries to diffuse the situation. But then Kyle just is constantly causing issues. And he's like, she said this about you. Well, she said this about Chef. And Natalia, I don't think we saw her breathe once.
No.
And
No.
every word out of her mouth was, Toomey sucks, basically, or Toomey's a
Mhm.
bitch, or aggressive, or this. And again, as two people of color, it's just I'm saying this is my bias. I want to make that very clear. It might not be true, and I don't want to like put that on Natalia, but it was personally hard to watch because like I know that sometimes when you, as a person of color, I'm not even a black woman, come on, like can be seen as all
Mhm.
these things that Natalia is saying. So I just, something to keep a note of. I don't think I'm gonna like put it all on her.
No, I get it though. And then even for Toomey, as a black person, sometimes we come in and we want to do so well
Yes.
because we are the representative for our race in a way. We talk about that later on in the episode where Toomey is, the primary and all the guests are black. And they're telling Toomey, hey, it's good to see a black woman in these spaces because we don't see a lot of that. And she said, yeah, I
Yeah.
have to be a good representation. So she's working really hard. It might come off a little like overbearing a little bit when it comes to like leadership style or whatever, but she's trying her best. And then you have, like some harmful tropes getting thrown around with the aggressive, with the hand talking. No one's going to slap you. Stop it. You're at work. Like you're not, you don't be
And
afraid
she'll
of
be
anybody.
fired if she slaps her. So you should ask to be slapped then if you want her to be gone, right? Like,
Right.
be
Yeah.
so
If
for
that's what we're
real.
getting. Right. But it's a lot of that going on. It's also like, even though some things might be true, you always have to, tread lightly when dealing with like harmful stereotypes. It does not mean a black woman cannot be aggressive. It just means that maybe
100%.
check yourself before asking about that or for assuming the aggression. Maybe try other avenues first before you get there. And it just looks like Natalia wasn't willing to give Toomey a chance after their initial
Yes.
interaction.
And that's 100%, I feel, what it comes down to. I think if you're a true leader, and I don't mean leader rank wise, I just mean leader as a human, you would be like, what's going on here to me? Like, can we start over? Like, this is weird. To me should do that
Yeah.
also. But I just think Natalia hasn't taken a breath. And they're still working, right? They're on charter. It's
Yeah.
not like they can just be vibes only and just start whatever. It doesn't work like that.
Right. It's a bad look for the charter as a whole, but it's definitely a
Yes.
bad look for Natalia because this is your boss's first day of work, and you are getting in like basically shouting matches with them on the boat. I don't know where you've worked, but I've never worked in a location where me and my boss could just start yelling at each other. You know, it's just not a thing. You know, especially
And you get away with it.
and just go and you just think tomorrow everything's gonna be fine.
Yep.
Nah, by the time they have the tip meeting on the next episode, there needs to be a conversation with Captain Sandy.
Yeah, it looks like they will be having it pretty early in next week. So it's just, I just feel like Natalia can take one breath and maybe things will be changed. Because, and also Kyle, shut your mouth.
He did it all before he even got on the boat. That's the
Yes.
impressive part about it. This came from text messages and a conversation at like the visa
Immigration.
office. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's impressive, not gonna lie.
Captain Sandy said, you know, on Watch What Happens Live, right? Like when she was asked about this, you know, there was someone talking out of both sides of their mouth, which is probably why we're here.
Yeah. Somebody playing the middle and also saying, I don't like to play the middle. I don't like the front or the back. Like, sir, it sounds like the middle is doing you just fine. Because you are in everything already.
Kyle
Yeah.
is the embodiment of, am I the drama?
Right. Is it me?
Is it me?
Yeah.
Am I the drama? Like, that is so Kyle. It makes, again, it's just, it kills me because then we have seen from last season, Kyle and Natalia are not friends. He even threw her under the bus to guess, and he called her like housekeeping. He's like, sorry, housekeeping should do better. And it was just 3 of them, so she was the 3rd, and it was so bad because they started screaming again, almost in front of guests.
Yeah. And then when we start this episode, they just meet up and they're having the big hugging moment and stuff like that. It's kind of like, this is the kind of toxic friendship that you don't like. The one where you like fight in public and then you make up, but y'all are like frenemies. We've seen that kind of on past charters even sometime where we'll see the guests that are like there and they're all having a good time, but then they're all talking about each other behind their backs, but they can't be separated for too long because they just have that toxic personality. It's like, yeah, if you are fighting every time or being messy every time you're with somebody, it might not be the best friendship. Even if you're happy when that's going on, you should probably examine that a little bit.
And he's turning people against you. Wake up.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh my god. Also, Will,
very impressive.
Will is so me. To be fair, if I was chartering the boat and I got to watch all the drama, I'd probably tip more.
Okay, yes, that's a fact. Yeah. What, Sasha, if we're sitting there on the boat, we're like, okay, so what happened to me? Who happened? So what's she saying, Natalia?
Oh.
Kyle, tell me what it is. Who don't like each other? You know, we asking the questions.
Yeah. 100%. I'd be like, oh, how does it feel? No, we don't need drinks for the next hour. We're fine. Just keep a bottle here. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll just a waterfall.
Here, sit with us. Yeah, sit with us. Talk to us. What's going on? You like this? You got a new boss today? What?
You were Chiefs too? Oh my god, how'd you do?
Yes. Oh, they demoted you. Couldn't be me. I don't know what to tell you. You know,
girl, right? They're terrible people. The problem is, don't get caught up with us because there's no like angel and devil on your shoulder. Like we're both the devil on your shoulder. Yeah. Unfortunately.
I'm the smiley face devil emoji and Sasha's the frowny one.
Actually, that's correct. With that, let's get to like the preference sheet meeting because we haven't even talked about the guests yet. So Captain Sandy, rightfully so, calls Toomey, Luca, and Chef Jack for the preference sheet meeting. And then Lolly pointed this out in the chat, but listen, I feel like I have to reenact this, not actually, because they're all sitting around in the galley and they're just like, yeah, okay, you know, let's get our little printout. Let's start reading it. And Natalia's like, with the Jeopardy music, right? Like in the back, just like looking around. That John Travolta meme from Pulp Fiction, where you're just like looking around. That's all I could think of. And then y'all, what, like, again, I know you've watched the show, but it is so ridiculous because she then hits the magnet on the little board to make her presence known.
Like, yes, Natalia, what do you need? Is there a reason why you're here?
Like, goodbye.
Bye. We're talking to the bosses now. It's time for you to go.
I couldn't breathe. It was so cringe. Because again, you couldn't find me being this clown, you know? Like I wouldn't you wouldn't even find me on the same level, right? I'd be
No.
up on deck flirting. Oh no, can't even flirt with Luca because he's bosun. I keep forgetting. But you know, I'd be talking to anybody
Yeah.
but
And
this
then
person.
and Captain Sandy even already gave Natalia her like thank you for stepping down. You know,
1000%.
that
Yep.
was one of those like I'm asking you to step down and I'm also thanking you because you've already done it. In my mind, that's not a
Yes.
conversation we need to have anymore. Thank you for your service. You're no longer needed in that area. And Natalia said, "Oh, okay, yeah, thanks." And now here she is. Like, I thought we already talked about this. Why are you in here? You were supposed to step down. I
And
shouldn't have
people
to
were
ask you to.
basically ignoring her almost, right? Like, oh, she'll
Yeah.
go away if you don't see her.
If you don't say anything, maybe she'll just go sit down.
Yeah, it's just I couldn't stop laughing at the whole situation. And there's also a thread which comes up all the time. Like there's a lot of cutscenes of Nat and Luca, right? Like flirting. She's also like right constantly bitching to Luca about Toomey in the laundry room, up on deck, right? All the time. This is what this reminds me of. And I know I've probably gone so crazy with this, but on Below Deck Adventure, the bosun and one of the stews were kind of in like Lewis, right? Yeah. We're in a
Okay.
little situation. And Below Deck Adventure was a clusterfuck, like to say the least, just like every single person. And
Mhm.
the the bosun orders her epileps for the the second like epileps, the little thing,
Yeah.
when Faye had specifically said none of them, like they're all the same, like no one is a second, third, like they're stews.
Is she like, no, I'm getting my own rankings?
Yep. But Faye let her keep it, which was annoying. But that is almost what this stuff was reminding me of, where I was like, is Nat eventually gonna go to Luca and be like, hey, as a head of department, can you
Right.
help fix this?
Right. It does feel like it too. It feels
Yeah.
yeah, the her and Luca storyline is kind of interesting in general because she wants to flirt with him. Luca, we don't talk enough about Luca just being the like vision of perfection, like of perfection when it comes to like professionalism. Like the guy comes in, he does his job, he acknowledges that the women are pretty, and then he says, "But I cannot do that." So far, Luca in 2 seasons, we haven't had really any complaints for Luca at
Unless
all.
you're Culver, but yeah.
Unless you're Culver, but that's a thing. That's a personal Culver issue, and that's a
Yeah.
issue with Culver's girlfriend as well. But as far as like Luca, like in this moment, Culver 100% does not like flinch at the idea of like flirting with Nat, right? Like he just
100%.
Gary doesn't flinch at it. You know, like there's just certain people who are just like, yep, okay, fine. You know, like
Boyfriend, what do I care? Couldn't be me.
right, whatever. Open relationship, cool. How open? You know, but to see Luca be like, yeah, I acknowledge that this is cool, but also I'm good because I just got this new job. I was like, I think we might see Captain Luca soon. I could see that for him.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that Luca good looks will get you far in life, and then I think you add actual talent to that, fast track to
Yeah.
where you need to be. That's what I feel.
Yeah. What do you think about the open relationship conversation between Nat and Nat? Because she seemingly is just playing with that idea in her mind, but she has an open relationship currently. She talks to the boyfriend on the phone and they try to clear some things up and then he goes to sleep. What are we doing here, Sasha? Give me your professional opinion
He's
about the
not the problem is he does not give one F, I feel, about her really, or that he cares about her as a person, but like monogamy isn't for him. I think that's okay. The problem is when consent, right?
Mhm.
Everyone in the relationship, and this it might be plural if you're in an open relationship, everyone needs to consent.
Yeah. And I think that she didn't consent and then she found herself in an open relationship and now she doesn't know the rules. See, that's the thing.
Yes.
If you're in a polyamorous relationship or open relationship or something like that, you have to establish like rules and boundaries because If it's a relationship, then there's communication there. There are like interactions that are okay and that are not okay. If that's not the case, then y'all in
Mhm.
a relationship and y'all are just messing around, which is fine. Go do that. We grown. But if you are in a relationship, you have to establish the bounds of that relationship. And to me, it sounds like he is in an open relationship and she is not. And because when she tells him, yeah, can we just establish some ground rules? Is there something you want to talk? Like, is there any way we talk about like what our rules and our boundaries are? And he says, yeah, I think I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, he literally was like, "Nah, I'm out."
Sasha, he hung up that phone, rolled over, and kissed his other girlfriend and went to sleep.
One that girlfriend, probably his just like of the moment
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, because he's in an open relationship and he gets what that means to him. And she's too busy sitting around going, well, I want to flirt, but I don't want to break any rules. Ma'am,
There's
what
no
rules?
rule. We are on
you,
vibes only.
that man hasn't told you any rules. What are you afraid of? Go live your life.
But that's our problem, right? We are the lawyers that are like, loophole. Can't wait
Loophole.
to jump straight through it. Right? Like
Here's a line. I'd hate to cross it.
where you didn't establish any line. I don't see one. Is the line in the room with us right now?
Right.
Methinks not. So that's where I would push Nat to be like, live your life, queen. Don't
Do
let
you
a
think?
man tell you otherwise. What the hell?
Yeah.
These
Right. I mean,
Miami boys.
she tried to establish a rule with him. She said, can we talk about it?" He said, "Yeah, I'm probably just gonna go to sleep. We can talk about it later." Okay, well, until said rules are outlined, I think you have freedom to do whatever you want. It's one of those ask for forgiveness, not for permission moments, because you tried to ask for permission. You tried to get it outlined. As far as I'm concerned, live your life. You are in a relationship
Mhm.
and it's open and you can
Ye
do whatever you want.
That part. And Thundercats has me just crying because she has real high expectations for Toomey and none for her man. That's exactly
Ouch.
what I thought. Because I
Yeah.
was like, you have all this energy, and you know what just dawned on me is there is so much nervous energy around her relationship that she almost needs an outlet.
Yeah, I think so. I think there could be like a lot of stress on her where she doesn't know where she stands with this relationship.
Mhm.
She's obviously a little hot these
Yeah.
days for Luca. And so she knows, so she's trying to establish, deal with that. And then she thought she had control over one portion of her life, which was the boat, where she was chief stew. That is
Yep.
now gone. So she's probably looking for control however she can get it. And it might just be permeating through some other, realms, maybe her interaction with Toomey, maybe the messiness, talking to everybody else, because she can't have the outlet that she wants, which is she really wants to flirt with Luca, you know, potentially she wants to have more clarity in her own relationship.
Mhm.
So when Toomey comes in establishing clear boundaries and guidelines for her, maybe it just doesn't resonate so well with Natalia. And I think that's fair. I honestly think that would probably be a fair assessment, but she got to figure that out because that's going to mess up your job.
Exactly. Yep. And I think that's what's hard is sometimes like when you watch it back, maybe you realize it, but when you're actually in the moment, in your brain, you're kind of just like, no, like this is wild. To me is the issue, and I'm just gonna zero in on that, which just
Mm-hmm.
isn't necessarily true. And yeah, Lolly, it's just I want to know how often she talks to him and doesn't mention the open relationship. Probably 0 times.
Right. Well, see, the thing is, I know she tells us about the open relationship,
Mhm.
but it's kind of like he's walking around in an open relationship and she never says, so about that open relationship. It's like she just hears relationship and goes with it
Yep.
when she should really be saying, so when you say open, what do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Can we get some clarity on how open? Like, say when, like, is it this open or this open? Like, I
Oh
just
my
feel like
god.
that should be her primary objective when it comes
Yes.
to this relationship.
100%. I think she should say, "I don't wanna talk to you until we define this. Like, you're dodging me, and I don't like that." I think
Yeah.
that should be it. That's where you end the conversation, but, it's okay. Boys will have you in a blender. I understand that. So, with all that, we're gonna hold everything, but the preference sheet meeting does happen, and our primary guest is Mecca Moore Henson. She's a New York City founder, of a magazine called Pink, but PYNK, and she's gonna be on the yacht with her husband and her successful friends. Basically, all her girlfriends and her man.
Basically, I was
I couldn't do it, but I a lot of people do.
I was cooking when I was watching this, and I heard them say, "Oh, her name is Mecca Moore Henson," and then they said, "Oh yeah," and her husband Antoine, and I was like, "These black folk?" I just looked up. I said, "Antoine." I was like, "Oh, okay. I like this." So I ended up looking her up, and I think Huffington Post or somebody had done like a article on her,
Oh, wow.
um, yeah, years ago about being a media powerhouse and like how her work intersects with her love life and like how her and her husband are just like this like power couple. And
Oh,
so it's
that's
no
so
surprise to
cool.
me. Yeah, and this was years ago. So it's no surprise to me to see them on this like in this relationship like together on the boat. They seem to be like a tandem, and then they have
Yeah.
their team of people who might be a little bit more difficult than they are to deal with because this this crew right here, yeah, the producers told them make it tough, and they said okay, we got it. And they're
Actually, though.
I was getting frustrated at home. I was like, what? Why y'all coming in so hot? What's happening? Behind
Yeah,
the
you're
vegan
just like,
food?
breathe. Everyone pause 1 second, okay? And it's wild because we do have a vegan, and Jack was like, "Yeah, I tried it at 2 PM one afternoon, and then I was done by 3." So
Yeah.
it's just so
I
funny.
felt in my soul. Okay. Can't do it. Can't
Yep,
do it.
and yeah, and then Sandy says there's gonna be bad weather, and when they showed the swells, I was like, "You wouldn't even get me on the boat."
No, there's no way. There's no way. I'm like, are y'all sure the boat isn't gonna capsize? Are you sure they like we already saw on the last episode, you and Jason talked about it, but people were just vomiting everywhere because of
Yes.
how rocky the boat was. And this is worse. No, I'm not getting on the boat. Or if I do, we definitely aren't leaving the dock. So I'm happy that they told them, like,
Yep.
hey, you spent all this money, but we're not going anywhere.
Listen, it can't be worse than sailing when they were like, "Yeah, we can't sail at all. The engine is broken."
Hey, yeah, completely different, but at the same time, absolutely not.
Yeah, it just there could be worse, that's all. I mean,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden, it's just all we know is the vibes have to be immaculate, y'all. All right, that's all that matters. And we have a request of a Diamonds Forever themed dinner followed by a
Mhm.
pajama party. And the pajama party needs to have food and snacks. Again, I agree, vibes only. But I don't know what happened here, but these charter guests need food,
Yes.
substantial food from jump. Because when they get on to the charter, they're not happy because I think they're just pissed about the weather.
Mhm.
Pissed if you plan everything and the weather goes to hell. So
Right.
you plan all this, the weather's crap, and Sandy's like, "Not a smile to be found." I was like, "Sandy, would you be happy?"
No, no, they wouldn't be happy. And it's kind of like when people come in, and this is one of the points Natalia was saying about Toomey's
Mhm.
attitude, saying like, you come in with positivity, and then we can start on a good foot. But then when you see your charter guests coming and they are look miserable, the weather's dreary, it's like you got to put on a positive face to kind of hype them up because they're about to be on the boat. But I think that's where you really benefit from having someone like Toomey and even Kyle, where they are just like so good with the front of the
Yeah.
house stuff to where they can keep you hype. It's just that initial reaction of just seeing these like miserable faces, knowing they spend a lot of money to go on a boat that they're not going to be able to, to get out into the water with. That probably is a little demoralizing. Sasha, about this pajama party. Should we have a pajama party if we reach our landmark for our next whatever next
Let's do
reviews?
it. Let's do
Yeah.
it. Maybe we can have friends on, like, to join
Yeah.
the pajama party.
Yes. We'll add like a couple
Happy to.
people. Maybe we'll all wear pig costumes or something like that.
No, no, we'll do something fun, more fun.
More fun. Okay, cool. I like that idea.
Yeah, maybe we can do like a almost like have Rob come on. We maybe we volunteer him. But then maybe like you know how they do the patron feedback show? Maybe y'all
Yeah.
come on. Like the peanut galley can
Ooh.
call in for one question each or something. And we do like a
Yeah.
pajama party. But y'all also have to be in your pajamas.
Yes, or you just call in. Maybe you just do audio in case y'all don't want to be on
Yeah,
camera.
of
And
course.
of course we'll be in our pajamas. We'll work it out. It's only
Yeah.
episode 3. We got time to figure this out. I think we got like 6, 7, 8 more weeks of this to
Yes.
go. So we'll figure it all out by the time that comes.
100%. So let's see how it all works out. But listen, maybe we get a pajama party at 250 reviews. Let's do it. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Let's do
Sounds
it.
good
Is
to
this
me.
like the pizza party I used
Yeah.
to get at school?
Listen, as former educators, both of us are like, yeah, we've done this before. Been there, done
Exactly.
that.
And yeah, so again, then the guests are like, "We need food. It is lunchtime." Jack's charcuterie or no, cheese board was lackluster. We have
Mhm.
seen Zarina's cheese charcuterie board. The thing is, first of all, it should be out already. I don't think it should be like it's just it should be presented, right? And chef
Yeah.
does say, "Well, you didn't take off the plastic." Well, it's not cute to like it's not appetizing, so they take it back. I think chef should have just taken the plastic off and sent it up.
Yeah, and the guests are immediately like, "I don't want no cheese. I would like food." They like you said, they just the weather's bad. They're probably a little sad, and so food brings endorphins. And if you're like me, when you get hungry, hungry turns to hangry, and then hangry just turns to unbearable. And like at some point, if I get so hungry, I'm just going to stop talking. And if I
Yeah.
shut up, then something's wrong. And so for them to come to them and say, "Hey, would you like the charcuterie? You want some cheese?" No, absolutely not. When is the food going to be here? And I think that if Sheffy was a little bit better with his charcuterie board, they wouldn't have like questioned it as much, But he was
Or
slacking.
I
He
think
really
you
was.
see it, right? And you're just like, "Oh, I'm just so hungry. I'm just
I
gonna
just need to
eat it."
grab it. Right,
Yes.
exactly. Not
Instead of
I'm
when it's
waiting on it.
yes,
Right.
when it's presented as an option, you're like, "I don't want that." Oh my
Yeah.
god, Susan, hi.
Hi, Susan. Hi, Caitlin. I see you late to the
Yeah,
party
I
too.
know.
Yeah,
Susan's a new
shout outs.
member, shout out. We love that. But yeah, exactly. It's chaos from jump. But I do think that Toomey was trying her best to still figure it out. And she's like, "We gotta rush on lunch. It is what it is."
Yeah. And it does seem like Sheffy is upset. He's a little Jack is a little he's a little off guard by
Yeah,
this,
you
and he's
finally have you've seen a chef like this. This is what we know chefs to be.
right. Well, okay, so boom, let's put a pin in that. So there's a
Mhm.
moment where Toomey is talking about how she knows she doesn't like to piss off the chef because the chef, you really need them. They're temperamental, and we see a flashback of
To
my girl Aisha.
Ryan.
Right, Aisha is talking to this random chef guy who is disrespecting my best friend Aisha. I said, "Wait, what is happening, Sasha? What was going on, and why was this man having his chest popped out at my best friend?"
Yes, Ryan was truly the devil. Like y- mega loser energy, just like everything about him was just ugh. Like his food was fine. He just I think believed that fine dining was like pasta all the time, right? I think it was very much like Italian food and just like did not care for what guests wanted. Like guests would be like, "Can I get this?" He'd be like, classless.
What?
These guests suck." Yeah, he was such a loser. Like, just I never met a worse chef. And the problem is, like, he should have been let go charter one. And Jason was too
Uh,
nice. And I think Asia
mm,
was too nice to him
mhm.
as well, which is again why I think Toomey's coming in with like, well, I saw Asia being way too nice. I gotta be the other way.
Yeah, I saw that and I just like had the visceral reaction of what? Well, hold on. No, nobody talks to Aisha like me, like that, in front of me. Like I don't play that. We bonded last season. This is not it. So I could see why Toomey would be on guard. But Chef Jack, I think he handled this fine. He was just off guard by the amount of like urgency that was going into this. And I do think that Toomey could handle that probably a little bit more differently too. Like when you start to pick up that your chef is kind of on edge, maybe
Exactly.
maybe don't always go to the chef and say, yeah, they're still asking about it. Like give them, oh, okay, tell the guest you're gonna see about it, but then give them some time. And so we don't know, we don't get like real time footage of this. We don't know how she actually handled that moment. But we do get the snippets that we have, and just based off of that, I'm like, okay, cut him a break. Now later on, it gets to the point where he is just up to his wits end, and I'm like, all right, Chef Jack, you might need to take a break.
Mhm. And that's exactly it. I think there's a way, right? And this is I think something Toomey needs to work on is how do you kind of unfortunately become like as the middle manager, right? Like between the guests and the chef or between your crew as well. I think you almost have to take a lot of the blows.
Mm,
But because again she shared about her high school story, right, as well and like the diversity in yachting, I think Toomey comes in with a very no nonsense attitude. So I think you just unfortunately learned that with experience, is that there's a way to kind of straddle that in between and be almost the person that takes the jabs. It's horrible and you need an outlet, but your outlet cannot be messy Kyle.
No, anybody but Kyle. That is the truth.
Literally.
Because it's gonna get back. We've seen it already in one episode. We've seen Kyle stir up so much stuff, and I don't even think he was trying.
Yeah, and people are saying that like Kyle actually wants to be the chief, and maybe that's why there's drama. But I don't know, because I saw the preview for next episode, and I'll just say I don't agree with it. I'll just leave it at that because I don't want to spoil too much.
Ooh,
But it's
okay.
gonna be interesting. And yeah, with that, it's just the lunch is served. I felt that it was lackluster. And yeah, Thundercat said it too. Like the chef was slacking. I just feel like it pasta for vegans. That's it.
They said 6 out of 10, Sasha, and I was like, "Ooh, that's cold." Like 6 out of 10. How you pay all this money and you get mid?
She said Chili's. That's what this is giving.
Chili's. Yeah. Oh, Chili's. Oh,
No, I'm just
man.
kidding. She didn't say that. I made it up.
She basically said Chili's. That's the same
Yeah.
concept.
Oof. It's just, yeah, it wasn't good. And I just feel like even then, Jack was like, nah, like I'm still gonna give Toomey a chance. I think it's just the guess. But then now, okay, Kyle apparently goes to talk to the guests. Why is it not Toomey that's having a conversation about menu with the guests? But sure. So Kyle gets sent to go talk to the guests. He allegedly writes down what this lady said. She said, no, I want the starter, but actually, can I just have that as my main with some pasta?
Right.
And take out, right? Some stuff as well, like one of the apps. So Kyle has now turned that into they just want to take this out and make this as the starter.
And this is bad because of course the guest is looking at the food like, where's my food? And Toomey is trying to make sense of it, but she doesn't have all the information. So she's hearing from the guest, this is what I asked for. She's hearing from the chef, this is what they told me to make.
Yes.
She's like, okay, well, what happened in the middle? And she's like, okay, well, maybe the guest is just confused because they thought that this was going to come out as the main, and it came out as a starter. No harm, no foul. We figured it out. But by that time, I think the pressure on, Chef Jack is just weighing too much on him. He's like, stop coming in here telling me what to do. I got the order right. Don't come in here fussing at me. They're already rushing me. I already got to make this vegan nonsense because he don't believe in that. And so I think for him, he's just like, it's too much. And so when Toomey's going in saying, look, we can't, look, I get it. I hear you. The guests are temperamental. At that point in the episode, Chef Jack already knows that Toomey has said something negative about him. And so he's using that in combination with this moment to kind of inform his action. And he's not really open to hearing what Toomey has to talk about. Now, I don't blame him because if I hear you talking trash and now you coming in my face about some stuff, I too am going to shut down. I am
100%.
Yeah. And so I'm kind of like, Kyle, again, this got back to Natalia through Kyle. So it was Kyle. It was from Toomey to Kyle to Natalia to Chef. And she only told Chef that just because she wanted him to not like Toomey as well. Right?
Yes.
Or maybe it was to protect him. I don't know. I can't say.
I doubt, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think in these moments, right, in Misery Loves Company, especially when she's been wanting Jack to like be on her side, and Jack has been like, no, like stop, why don't the two of you sit down? Why don't the two of you sit down and talk? To now, I think Jack's like, you were right. My bad. I suck. And yeah, Thundercat says this too, but the lobster linguine was Jack's idea. Yet there was no linguine, and he kept blaming Toomey, knowing that he talked with Kyle and stayed behind blaming Toomey.
Yeah. It was the after effect was even once they got it cleared up, and I say cleared up in quotation marks because I think it's still some miscommunication there.
Yep.
He says, well, when are you going to take accountability and just say it's your fault? How is it Toomey's fault? Toomey didn't take the order. Toomey didn't give you the order. All Toomey's doing is relaying the information from the guest to you. Kyle at best should be like the one saying, "Hey, maybe it's me." But for you to be like, "Well, when are you going to take accountability?" It's like, "Well, Jack, when are you going to take accountability? Like,
Yeah,
what's going to happen?"
when are you gonna have a spine, right? To be
Mhm.
like, this was a mess and I'm under pressure and maybe I messed up. No, he
Right.
cannot be bothered, I think, to like actually understand what's going on. And even then, Toomey comes back and she's like, I want us to be on the same page.
Right.
You know, you are great. I want you to succeed, right? Like she's
Mhm.
saying all the right things, but he's shut down because he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know you're talking shit about me. So you can kick
Right.
rocks, number one. And two, you messed up. Even when she brought the menu to
Yeah, and
him,
showed him.
yeah, his confessional is like, why is she talking shit and blaming on the guests constantly? Because at that point, she's like, well, she's like, I have my team's back. So I'm
Right.
gonna, but I think that's a good manager where she's not doing the guests are always right thing.
Mhm.
She's like, no, I think the guests are confused and let's not like spiral because of it. But she
Yeah.
can't, like, I think she can't win because she has a leaky faucet
Mhm.
and Natalia's out to get her. I think both of those together is what's messing it up.
She needs to stop the leak. What she needs to do is have everybody in the room. She needs to
Yes.
sit it down and say, okay, what are your issues? What my issue with Natalia is that, she and I got off the wrong foot. And then Chef needs to say, hey, I felt like you was talking trash about me behind my back. And then she said, I'm sorry. I did say that. I said that to Kyle in confidence because you and I weren't on the same page. I apologize. Then she needs to go to Kyle and say, Kyle, I told you these things in confidence. They're getting out and it's creating a bad work environment. Thus, I can't tell you shit else. Stop running your mouth. And then you need to go to Natalia and say, lady, you work for me. I am your boss, your supervisor. You stop running your mouth about me because if I hear something else, we're going to have you off this boat. And then that way it's all out in the open. Everybody knows what everybody has said about each other, all the bad things, and then you can move forward. But we know that ain't going to happen because that would be bad TV. I will say that.
Yeah, and it's management 301, and I feel
Yeah.
like maybe Toomey's at management 101
Right.
currently. She almost has to get through this to then next charter. She'll probably do that.
Yeah. And it's going to start with her taking accountability and that
Yeah, she
conversation
has
with
to be the
Kyle.
first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna have to. She's gonna have to start with, yeah, when I got here, I had preconceived notions about y'all based on my conversation with Kyle. Kyle, I know we're supposed to be friends, but we cannot continue to work like this if you're gonna be
Yeah,
running your mouth. I'm sorry, I'm throwing
exactly.
you under the bus, but somebody, and if we're gonna work together, somebody getting under the bus with me. And
Yeah,
it's
and
you.
I'm bullying you because
Yeah.
you are the reason I'm here. And
Yeah.
the problem is everyone needs to be like Jessica because she's a queen
No
and she
drama.
is me at like, yeah, like I know she's younger than us, but like I feel
Mhm.
like at 32 now I feel this way where I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, I just don't care to be
I'm
in
not in it.
charge.
Leave me
Like
alone.
just give me the dumb job. I
Tell
don't want
me
to
what
use
you
my
want me
brain.
to do, and I will do it.
That's
That's
so great.
It's the best feeling in the world, especially when you're making good money. If you're not making no money, then you're like, okay, that's what you do, and then you try to work your way up.
You're
But if
right.
you are solid in your paycheck, I could do the same job every day. You don't have to tell me nothing. What do you want me to do? Wipe this thing off every day? Bet it's clean. Don't worry about it. I got you. Just don't have me making no decisions. I don't want to do no chain of command. I don't want to make no schedules. I don't want to deal with nobody payroll. Just let me come in, get my check, and go home.
Yes. That again, I think we're burnt out nonprofit workers,
Right.
but but it's so real. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's just all of it together. It's so wild. Yeah, do you want to get into this?
Yes, let's talk about it. So we get
Mhm.
Penny in the chat says, "Are we really defending Toomey? She's no angel. No. Did you hear what Kate said on Couch Talk? Okay, I came in hot. Toomey just needs to show some gratitude and it would start working out smooth. Penny, I agree. First of all,
Yeah.
I need to start
100%.
watching the Couch Talk for sure. Because I always come in. I like to let Sasha tell me about it so I can react to it for the podcast.
No, I didn't
Um,
watch Couch Talk. Yeah, it's just unfortunately I find it pretty boring, but I did know, yeah, that Kate said this. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but I
mhm.
do agree with you, Penny. I think that Toomey came in with a preconceived notion about how Natalia was already going to be, and so she already had her guard up. And had she just come in and
Yes.
said, "You know what, the boat is fine. I'll make it work." If she was more positive, they would not be off like this. That's why I started this podcast saying, I think this is Kyle's fault. No disrespect to
No,
Kyle.
100%. It's Kyle's fault. And I think again, manager 101 is like,
Mhm.
rah, rah, rah. It's that when you get experience in learning people and dealing with people is when you can do that. But also, Natalia is constantly being disrespectful. That is,
Yeah.
both things can be true.
All
That's
3 of
all
them are
we're
wrong
saying.
as hell. All 3 of them are
Yes.
wrong. Like Kyle wrong for being
And
messy.
Chef, add a
Yeah.
fourth one.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Look, Kyle is wrong for being messy because this pops off because Kyle says this to Toomey. Now, Toomey, you're a grown ass woman. Somebody say some messy stuff to you. You cannot let that affect your first day at work. First impressions mean a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Natalia, you could not let your boss's first impression decide to make you a brat throughout the entire service. Jack, just cook the food, man. What are you doing? Why are you in this? Just cook the food. Tell if she's moving too fast, let her know. If there's confusion, let her know. You don't have to. You don't have to get involved in all of that. He say, she say. If matter of fact, here's another one. If someone comes to you and says your boss is talking or a boss is talking trash about you, go to that person. Go to the boss and say this was said. But it's like that behind the scenes kind of like sneaky, like, oh, what she said this, I said that, but don't tell her, but don't tell them this. That's where it all gets confusion. So communication is key. But yeah, I think we're just defending Toomey as a supervisor.
Yeah.
But as an adult, someone says some messy stuff to you, you catalog that, but you don't let it affect your job, and I think that she lost the plot with that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just Lolly also has a really great point that we also don't know how much or in what context the
Mhm.
discussions about Natalia were had while they were waiting for the visas. Exactly. And we know Kyle and Tosh were close last season and they
Mhm.
were constantly dragging Natalia. So it's just I think that again, it's a lot of like bad new manager like mistakes. We have all
Yeah.
made them. I think that's why I understand it, but I don't appreciate how Natalia talks to me. That is also a fact, and there's
Yeah.
some implicit bias going on there, and you just that's how I feel about it, and I'm
Yeah.
willing to say that's my personal opinion.
Well, yeah, and then it can be implicit bias coming from Natalia, but it's actual bias coming from Toomey as well because of what she
Yes.
learned from Kyle.
Yep,
It's
correct.
kind of like last season when we were talking about Joelle. From episode 1, I kept saying, I've never seen Joelle do these things. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
stay open-minded. And then throughout the season, he started to show me little bits of pieces of what y'all were talking about. But had I come in and been like, y'all already told me Joelle was trash, he trashed, and I would have never given him a chance. And I think that he deserved a chance based off of what we saw. He's obviously struggling
Mhm.
with some stuff, but you do learn these things from other people, and then you use them in your interactions with other people as well, right? And
Yep.
so, we're all human. We do that kind of stuff. But as far as your job goes, yeah, Natalia, you could get fired for this. Toomey's not going to get fired for these interactions.
That's the thing. And that
Yeah.
is what I think folks that are subordinate that will start drama need to unfortunately understand. And I think Captain Sandy usually goes with what the head of department says,
Yeah.
unless she doesn't like the head of department. But here she does. And that's it. So I think with all of that also then we get the pajama party, which is
Yeah.
it seems like a success. It's cute. The vibes are great. They have a nice, expensive chocolate, right? They have a lot of lint everywhere. And with that, it is somehow 3 a.m. And Kyle looks around. I think Natalia will handle it. That was so wrong. I was screaming.
It was wrong. And it felt like Toomey was okay with that because Toomey was
Yeah,
saying, I want Kyle to go to sleep. Now, I don't know if this is a directive from Toomey. Did she say you
that's
need to
what,
go to bed?
no. And that's the problem that we don't know. All he said is, I'll text you.
Yeah, that's the problem to me. Like, for her to then defend his actions as if she told him as a supervisor, you need to go to sleep at 3. I'm like, okay, if I didn't like, we didn't see that on camera. And so if I'm Natalia, I'm like, hey, boss, what's up? Like when I wake up in the morning, my job is not to be cleaning up decoration. That stuff should have been gone.
Exactly.
Toomey should not be saying, well, I'm fine with it because it makes your job harder and I want Kyle to get some sleep. Like, okay, but did you tell him that? Like, is that what we're doing now? Can you tell me that? I should have wake up to the shock and awe of, oh, wait, now I have to clean up then too. You know what your job is, and then you also know if someone's piling stuff on you. And
And again,
Now,
there's a way to have that conversation. Like we at one of my jobs, right? Like we worked every Friday night. So that
yeah,
equal and it was painful because we had to like you had to cook and then we had to serve college students.
yeah,
And we had to set up the place and break down the space. Eventually it just got too much for us. And this exact situation where all the food was thrown away, but the decor, it's like it's a lot of work for a Friday night. And for me, as the like, I was a director of student life, so I had a whole team under me. So I was like, my team are like young 20-year-olds, like they deserve to have a
they need to
Friday
sleep.
night. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah, so there's a lot of compromise we had to figure out. Like we had to come in much later than everyone else, and
Hmm.
people just had to get over it on Monday mornings that you're
Yeah.
gonna come in and there's gonna be decor up.
Right. It felt like Natalia was shocked by that. Like
Yes.
that conversation had never happened before. And I think it definitely needs to. I think when you defining people's
Yep.
roles, you need to say, Kyle's not going to be cleaning up at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's ridiculous. Because I also need him up at 9. So I'm not going to ask him to go to say clean up for 2 hours or an hour and a half or whatever the case may be. Go to sleep at 5 a.m. and then be looking for Kyle as basically head of the house, like the front of the house
Yeah,
to
exactly.
to do stuff. It doesn't
And
make
it's
sense.
so much work to talk to people, right? Like it
Yes.
can drain you. So I and if you're tired, I think that makes it worse and the guests are not going to get the best version of you. So Natalia is again right to feel a type of way to come up. And again, we've known this from her last season. She
Hmm.
is a stickler for cleanup. She's a stickler for where to put things where they're supposed to be. That is who she is. And her and Kyle and Natasha used to fight all the time. So actually, we've seen this fight before multiple
Oh,
times.
okay.
And Captain Sandy has called it out. Natalia did a little snitch. She's not wrong, but she snitched about them not cleaning up on time. So this isn't new that Kyle isn't cleaning up and Natalia has to. I just think there's a way that Toomey can be like, and I'm the boss, and I get to decide that he gets to sleep and you have to get over it. But you can't say that.
You can't
You
say it
just
like that.
can't.
Right. It's like, because I said so is the answer. And that's true. Because she
It
gets to
is.
determine who gets to do what. But at the same time, Toomey, by this point, Toomey's so sick of Natalia's mouth
Yeah.
and the little behind the backs and stuff like that. Because when people talking about you behind your back, you know it. Don't play.
Mhm.
You know it. And so, yeah, I think she's sick of it. And so by the time that happens, Toomey is already ready to take it to 10. And Natalia starts off at 10. She doesn't come to her like, hey, Toomey, by the way, you know, normally, we would have cleaned this up. What's going on? I just don't think that either one of them were coming with like a clean slate at that point. They were coming
No.
with baggage,
Yeah.
and from there it just starts to blow up. But she's got some balls on her, because you talking to your boss wild,
I don't think I could ever speak
no,
to my boss, any
no,
boss that way.
no, not one time.
No. No matter
Nope.
how close a friend, like, in community and relationship we are.
Yeah. It's like,
No, because they can fire
no.
me still. What the
Right.
hell?
It's this she's really pushing buttons here, and I want to know, like, how far does it go before it ends, because I don't see any world where they keep interacting like they're interacting and they make it through the entire season. There's just no
Yeah,
way.
that's the thing I want Sandy to figure out. That Sandy looks like, she might be done. Because she brings them in, right? To
Mm,
talk. So my problem is, will they just like fake talk it out? Because the way Natalia, right, has been giving interviews about Toomey and Kyle, there's no
uh,
love lost there. So we know
that
that
it doesn't end
things don't
well.
get solved. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
that's why I feel like it's gonna be a fake, hug your brother moment.
Yeah, Thundercats in the chat. First of all, thank you to the chat. Y'all always
Yeah.
give like good insight. Penny,
Mhm.
Thundercats, Lolly, we see y'all.
Yeah.
Thundercats does bring up that Captain Sandy doesn't tolerate insubordination, and Toomey handled it the way Sandy would. Now, I've been seeing this for a lot of like comments and even a lot of reviews that we're getting, that people
Ye
aren't big fans of Captain Sandy, and they're like, I'm not even gonna watch this season.
Mhm.
Is there any world where like Captain Sandy's past actions have been just that polarizing in these situations, because Captain Sandy was she involved with the Tosh and Kyle drama, or was that Captain Jason?
No, it's Captain Sandy.
It was Captain Sandy.
Yeah, and the thing with Captain Sandy though sometimes is that she can be very clear on this is what needs to happen. The problem is sometimes it doesn't always work, or it's not necessarily what's best for everyone, but she's very clear.
She is going to shut this down.
Yes. So I believe she will shut it down. She did say on Watch What Happens Live, she never knew the first conversation went that way.
Yeah, it's a hell of a first impression. Like, to Penny's point, if Toomey comes in straight out, even knowing what she knows, and just says, "Thank you for holding it down. I'm here. Show me where everything is. I'm not a big fan of the boat, but it's cool," and just moves on, you might be on the right foot for a while. I think that they were just never going to mesh. Just based off of what we can see here, especially with Kyle kind of floating around. But yeah, I think that first conversation is really paramount. And I mean, they got off to the wrong track from the moment she said she didn't like Miami. And so here we are.
Oh my God. No, but probably at the visa office, they got on the wrong track. Yeah, it's just, it gets so bad. And again, I don't feel, I'm a loud human, so that's why, but I don't feel like Toomey was being loud and, like using her hands like to almost like block Natalia. I just feel like she was talking with her hands. So Natalia's like, you better stop doing this. And, I'm telling you, I'm fine with it. Like, that's what Toomey's saying. But Natalia's like, stop doing this with your hands. Stop talking back to me, Toomey says. And they're just like going back and forth constantly. No, it's just, again, Toomey as the boss should have been like, I'm the boss. You don't get to say this. Goodbye. And I think she should have left. But she was calling after Natalia when Natalia was leaving. No.
Yeah. This needs to go up. They need to, go ahead and shoot this up the ladder.
I would have been like, I have to leave and go straight to Sandy and be like, we need to discuss this. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Aisha, we've seen in the past, Aisha has handled stuff like this, like even when she would go to Captain Jason and be like, boom, a problem happened immediately. Let's go immediately solve it. With the stuff with Luke and Laura, all that stuff, like it immediately goes up to Captain Jason. Like there's no question. And I think a lot of this stuff is very similar, where it's like, this has gotten to a shouting match with your boss.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and take it up. Let's go ahead and knock this out now, because y'all have to work together tomorrow. And if the guests start to pick up on this drama, people like you and me, Sasha, we're going to eat it up. But some of these guests, like this group of guests, they're kind of bougie. They're not going to go for it. Yeah.
And they already, they were like, ooh, a black girl, right? Like we had all these moments already with the guests. I think they're going to be like, now why is the only black girl? Right? Like this is not a good look for anyone. And yeah, Lolly's also correct that Sandy's not one that gets both sides before the discussion and just puts her foot down about her least favorite human being. That is correct. Like that is why people get irritated with Sandy, because they're like, that's not actually what happened.
Right.
But folks many captains have said this. They don't get the full story until they watch it.
Until they watch the show.
Yeah, again, not Sandy defender, but like it's just it is what it is. Like I can't be that negative, constantly. It's just not a fun podcast. So it's just all of this to say, I don't understand why Natalia is so like taken.
Right.
Like
so brazen, so bold. Like, lady, this is your job. But you want to get put off the boat? She wants to get put off the boat.
That's what I'm saying. I think that would be my recommendation. I would have been like, I can't do this. She's poisoning people against me. I bet you if Toomey said that to Sandy, Toomey doesn't know yet, but I'm just saying if Toomey said that to Sandy, mess. Okay, it would be horrible. And Natalia does say as Toomey's leaving the room, Natalia says, well, Kyle has been, Kyle told me this. I would immediately been like, repeat.
Right. What did he say?
Yeah. And that's when it would have just been like, that's it. Let's finish this conversation, because I understand that Kyle has been talking when he should not have. So it's just, again, I think unfortunately this comes with experience. This isn't fun drama if they all just like are good and conflict averse. So thank you, Natalia and Toomey, for bringing the drama. We'll say that.
The drama.
And then I think it's time to talk about our deck team.
Yes, because we get We get a new guy, right?
Yes, Max the Frenchman.
Is it, where is the boat? Is it, I speak the English. I said, yes, you do. I was like, I love this man because he is speaking English and nobody understands a word he's saying.
Me either. I'm sorry.
They swear he came in just like it's French, y'all. It's a French accent, but it's strong. But y'all will be okay, man. He's like, my favorite thing about Max is that Max is here for when we get done with the Natalia nonsense. And Natalia's not gonna make it. She's here for a short amount of time. We can all call it right now. There's no way that her and Toomey coexist on this boat. But you need a Max on every season. You need someone who has been fired from their jobs, who I have no idea how this man got through the interview process, because he's like, I'm like the French bulldog. I am coming here to wreak havoc on this boat. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. He said it's like the casino, Sasha, and that you gotta get in, have your fun, and get out. I said,
and know when to get out.
Who is this man? I said, who? This man speaking to my inner thoughts. So how did you know? I said, yeah, this is what you do. You get in and you get out. Okay.
No, Max is so on a different vibe. Like, I was like,
cracked.
Right? Like, what's going on?
This is not a healthy adult. This man has been fired from every job he's ever had. I thought the key was to know when to get out. If you get fired, it sounds like you didn't know when to get out.
No, I just couldn't breathe. And then again, we're gonna see a lot of it next time, but him trying to like dock or just like do stuff around the boat, I could not breathe. Okay, I could not breathe. Because he's just like, all these Americans and South Africans, I don't understand this energy. I'm only used to working with French people that are laxed. Blah blah blah. It's just, I think he's in for a whirlwind.
Yeah, there's so many accents, first of all, between you and I, but even on this show, there's so many accents to deal with. And then the French guy comes and nobody understands it. I was like, y'all, this is like, Kat points out in the chat, if Jack don't understand you, then it's like, what? I love it. I'm sorry. I am a Max fan because they brought him in. This man had the worst interview of all time. I know he did. He said, I'm here to party and have a good time. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. They didn't understand nothing he was saying. They said, you're hired. You're hired.
He's trying out for Winter House, Summer House, Real World. That's the vibe.
House of Villains too. It's coming, y'all. He's
no villain. He just be lost.
He's got a villain. He got it in him. You got fired from every job, Sasha. Oh, that's a criminal. That man there is a monster. I can't wait. Let him out the leash. Let him out the leash.
I'm telling you, I cannot breathe. It's just like the preview for next episode about him was so funny, and would just 100% would recommend. Shout out Penny. Yeah, Boomer.
Right. I said, what's this? Oh, you nonsense in the chat. I see y'all. Okay.
Shut up, hater.
I'm not hating. I like it. Go. Shout out to Penny. Oh, you. All right.
Anyway, but yes, it's just, I can't wait for Max, and I really don't understand Max. And Andy on Watch What Happens Live asked Sandy, does she understand? She said, absolutely not. She said, I don't know what he'd be saying. That's why. They just on vibes.
They didn't call his references. Like, dear God, like man, this man got fired from every job. You mean to tell me they're all like, yeah, give him a chance?
Did you forget Rue was on here? What references are they checking?
Oh, I forgot about Rue. Pour one out for Rue. The paperwork was wrong. Like Jason said, it wasn't all lies, but there's still some shady stuff going on, y'all. You got to go to school. You got to go to school, babe.
My God. Oh, not this bullying. It's football. Get out of here. Sports ball.
We had not talked about football in the chat. Thank you, Will.
We got to move on. We got this bullying, Will. Anyway, and with all of this, I think that is it. We did get a moment where Laura is like, stop calling me Laura. Say it with a smile.
Laura, not Laura.
And that's like, are you watching our podcast?
Right. That's what I said too. I was like, oh, she's seeing us butcher all these names. Yep. Laura. When she said say it with a smile, it made sense to me. Yeah. I have a cousin named Laura and I have a cousin named Lara, and they all spell it the same. And so it's not, I'm struggling Lara, but I'm trying. Um, we also got a moment from Haley, who's like, I just want to do cool boat shit with my friends. And I said, honestly, Haley, yes. I don't know where you've been, but yes, where is Haley throughout this entire episode? That's all
She's
she said.
bored. She's
She's
bored.
what is she
I'm bored.
doing?
I don't want to talk. And then and again, got brought up on Watch What Happens Live. Sandy was like, yeah, that's a Luca problem. Luca needs to fix that.
Right. I mean, Luca, if she ain't got nothing to do, she ain't got nothing to do. What do you want me to say? Like,
Yeah,
there's only
she's
so
like,
much
Luca
stuff we
needs
can do on the boat.
so funny. Listen, she can't do decor. So the
Right.
thing is, maybe she can clean up the PJ party.
Right. I just need to know like where Haley came from, because we get the
The
Lara.
tugboat. That's
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, we get a lot of Lara, and we got a lot of her last episode. But
Yeah, and
I
we're gonna
can't tell
get
you.
something good for Laura, I think, next episode. I'll just say
Oh, okay,
that.
cool. Well, we haven't gotten much of anything from Haley. At least we get from Jess. Keep me out of this. Get me out of the
She's
mess.
so
No,
good. Jess is me.
she is me. She's us. Like, I want to hear about the mess. I don't want to be in the mess.
Correct.
But yeah. But Haley killed me. She's like, I just want to do cool boat shit with my friends. I was like, you know what? I felt that in my life, in my soul. I didn't
Us
come
at
here.
RHAP events.
Right. I just wanted to do fun stuff. I'm bored. Somebody do something.
Y'all, this is us. If you meet us in person, we'll just be like, I'm bored. Let's start mess. So it's just, Haley, let's be friends, is what we're trying to say.
Yes, basically.
But yeah, it's just, I'm
hang out.
obsessed with the deck team. I think they're a hodgepodge of weirdos, and I can't wait to Luca having to figure all this out.
Yeah, he's a baby. He's like 25 years old, having
Yeah.
to manage all these crazy personalities. Have fun, Luca. He'll be, like I said, one day, Captain Luca. I can see it.
Oh my god, it's just none of them know anything, Penny. That's the point, because Penny's like, I don't know how to clean. No, they're all so messy, and they're all on vibes. And you know what? Maybe they set Sandy up again.
It's a fun group. It really is. And it's got to be wired if Luca gets the job. Luca's like, I've never been. They're like, you got it. Done.
Yep.
You're hired. He's like, oh, my bad. Like, Luca really didn't sound too excited about getting that promotion. He was like, oh.
He's like,
oh
me?
Okay.
Because
Right.
he's
Thanks.
Jessica, actually. So, but now he can't be.
Right. Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be in it, but now you're in it. But Sasha, overall, great episode. I was so happy. It was a fun time talking to you. It's good to be back.
100%. Yeah, I'm glad to be back, because we won't be together next week, but it's okay, y'all. We'll figure it out.
Now I
Chappell
have
will
to
be
find a
here.
guest.
Yeah. No, but we have a guest, so.
Oh, we do? Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah. I was
Okay.
like, I told you. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a guest.
The guest I thought would come on with me. Yeah.
Yes.
But also a quick thing from Watch What Happens Live. Jamil was on with Captain Sandy, and Jamil Hill, right? That's her
Yeah.
last name? Yeah.
Jamel Hill? Yeah.
Yeah. She has been on Charter on Below Deck twice, I believe. So she was very in it. And so she was like, Toomey came in a little hot, but she said she's on Toomey's side. And then Natalia's attitude was just too much. And then using almost like what Kyle said to weaponize what Toomey said. But then this is where she loses me, because Sandy and Jamil were both like, we love Kyle. Like, it's all basically Natalia kind of, and I was like, no, come back.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
You're missing it. You're missing the one key there.
Yeah.
Look, we all love our messy friend. We all love the friend who got the tea, who gonna stir the pot a little bit. Keep the job exciting. Like, don't ever let Haley meet Kyle, because she's gonna be in heaven. Like, something to do. Like, finally some fun, some mess, some drama. Give her something to do. She's bored out there. But yeah, I could see why Captain Sandy and Jamel but he's so much fun. He's so nice. It's like, but nah, he's out there stirring the pot. He's mixing it up. So you got to watch him, or the women gonna be pitted against each other. And like I said at the beginning of this, it's my kind of mess. Y'all handle it. Let me watch.
100%. And then the chat will unfortunately care more about this than you, but Andy did ask Sandy, whose tablescapes do you like the best out of all the chief stews you had? Because again, Chappell, this is like a point of argument with her.
Right?
Yeah, and she said Bugsy, which I was like, we all knew the answer would be Bugsy. And then she said Hannah, Bugsy, Kate, and Toomey.
In that order?
No, no, no. It's just these are the chief stews she loved,
Oh, okay.
except she didn't not name Tosh. So
Ooh.
it's just messy, all right? Messy as hell. Toomey is the strongest communicator, which is why I feel like things will go in Toomey's way next.
Uh-huh.
And she said, oh, she loves Katie as well. She believed that Katie had the best relationship with her chef, and they're all great leaders, blah blah blah. But she has best relationships with Katie, Bugsy, and Toomey, even now.
Mhm.
So fascinating for that. With all that said, this is what I need you to weigh in on. Two things.
Okay.
First, they started talking about football somehow, because it's Jamil. And Andy goes, yeah, who do you think will be in the Super Bowl? She said 49ers and oh my god, not me forgetting. Oh, and
The Chiefs?
Dolphins. No, the
Oh.
Dolphins.
Oh.
Yeah. Uh, so Andy goes, well, that guy, I think his name is Nick on the 49ers. He's really hot.
Andrew, calm down.
Exactly. Jamil goes, no. She actually said that. He was like, no. And I'll tell you offline a lot of things about him.
Andy, I need you to do your research coming for you out
Yeah.
here standing Nick Bosa.
Yeah. It's like if y'all want a football talk, like here we are.
Here we are.
But listen, not Nick Bosa, everyone. And Lolly says in the chat, yeah, shocked she didn't say Malia. No, she knows. This was all about her stews. That's why. Okay.
Mm.
And she said she would work with Hannah again, and everyone shocked as hell. And now this is where I couldn't stop laughing and wait for this. So they said, okay, and last segment, 5 things that bother you, Jamil. Great, okay. Why are Brussels sprouts great? Why are they rebranded? They suck.
Whoa. This is a pro Brussels
Yeah.
sprout stream.
Y'all
We love Brussels
don't tell
sprouts
him
here.
the list yet. Okay.
Yeah, I love me some Brussels sprouts. Jamel Hill, what's going on? You want to fight?
Yep. Oh, you just wait. So
Okay.
McDonald's espresso machine always being broken.
Okay.
Yes, we're with you.
Typical, yeah.
Hotels that charge early check-in fees. We're with
Fine.
you. Are you ready for this one? 'Cause
Okay.
this is an attack for you.
On me?
Yes.
Okay.
If you like candy corn, you're
But
a
man, get
terrorist.
out of here, bro. Get out of here. Get out of here, Jamel Hill. Boo, tomato. Tis the season. Hold up. Tis the season. We doing candy corn all month. It's October. Don't play Jamel Hill. Okay. All right. Wrap it up.
Yep. And the last thing, which I found to be most funniest, is Travis and Taylor are not really dating.
I ain't say it.
Check out Mess Magnets, everyone.
Yes.
I just couldn't stop laughing because Jamil goes, "Does she have a deal with the NFL?"
If she don't, she will.
Oh my god! And then she goes, "You know how she is in relationships."
Okay, Jamel, get your foot off of her neck. Okay, T Swizzle has been around here. Y'all know this. I'm an unofficial Swiftie.
Yeah,
and so
I'm not.
yeah, I am an unofficial. I be in the background. I don't go to the meetings and then like that, but I do get the newsletter. Yeah. She T Swizzle, she be going through, man.
It was so funny.
I would be shocked if we don't get a T Swizzle Super Bowl performance in the next couple years. Like it's coming, 100%. Right?
Well,
Yeah.
call Jay-Z. Anyway, let's move.
Meg and Taylor Swift win.
Oh God. Oh, that's funny. She wants to Carrie Underwood NFL song Sunday night.
Oh no, that's not for you, Taylor. That's
Stop
not for
it.
you.
Okay. But with that, I just had to bring that to you. Jason Orch did send that to me on Monday, and I just can't breathe because then I sent the Travis and Taylor stuff to our friend Kirsten, my co-host for Mess Magnets, and then I was told to send it to you, but I said no. I will be getting a live reaction instead.
Well, we got it.
Yeah. But yes, that is our like outside social media stuff for this week. We were going on. We went long this time, hour and a half, but it's fine. We had a lot to discuss. We had to catch up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got
with
to.
that, Thank you, chat. Again, shout out. Y'all are amazing as usual. Next week, again, we'll be here. Well, he will. And with that, Chappell, where can the people find you?
You can find me here on Rob Has a Podcast talking about Netflix shows every week. Rob and I are talking about I think it's The House Usher this week for a spooky season. For our 100th episode, we'll be having Ariel on from Post Show Recaps to kind of be our guest, talk about the first episode of that, and then to introduce the House Usher coverage with Ariel and team on postshowrecaps.com. So look forward to nothing but Netflix this week. Also, I'll be doing various Survivor and Big Brother coverage on Rob Has a Podcast. And then on Post Show Recaps, I'm still talking about The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. Fear the Walking Dead is on its way as well, and I'll be covering that. And then on the Connect on Post Show Recaps, Mari and I are wrapping up The Changeling on Apple TV Plus. And so this week is the finale of that. And finally, SuitsPodcast.com will take you to post-show recaps coverage of Suits. Every day, Suits coverage from me and Rob Sesternino. You can join the Facebook conversation if you like Suits, if you want to catch up. We're recording one episode a day, and it's a great time. So check that out. Go to SuitsPodcast.com/Facebook to join the group, or just subscribe on SuitsPodcast.com. Sasha, what about you? What do you have going on?
Yes, and as always, I am over on Mess Magnets on Robin's website /messfeed, talking celebrity gossip. Honestly, just a Travis and Taylor watch at this point. Everything they're doing, we're talking about it. All right. And
I know you love it.
Yes, and a new show alert. Jason Reed and I are talking Loki. The Marvel Squad is back. We're over on Everything is Super on Post Show Recaps, talking again Loki. Great first episode. I think we're going to have fun with this, and a lot of changes going on at Marvel. So let's see what happens. And we'll be going live tomorrow. Oh, no. What's today? Wednesday. Friday. We'll be going live Friday to talk about Loki as well. So check that out. And I will be guesting on the 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way podcast as well. And for everything else I'm doing, just follow me on Twitter at funsize_04. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Bye.